Namaskar and good morning to everyone. Before I start with my keynote address, allow me to wholeheartedly thank Professor Rutt and his dedicated team for the organization of this conference without forgetting their great warm hospitality. So thank you once again. So today I'll be sharing some thoughts with you about, as you can see, achieving sustainability in the VUCA context of the changing world, opportunities and challenges for mankind. So we're going to look at a holistic synthesis, if you want, of how sustainability developed over the years, how its meaning evolved, and what were the stakeholders that were brought in, until we found both opportunities, and today we have even few challenges on our way to achieve what we call sustainability. So the word sustainability itself came from the Brundtland Report in 1987. The report was entitled Our Common Future, and when we spoke about sustainability, it spoke about development which met the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This definition, however, was quite vague, right? It was just the interlinkages between economy and its dependence on natural resource systems, as well as a sense of stewardship for the future and the environment. And as and when we spoke about sustainability, there were three prominent factors which came into play, and these were, of course, the economy, the environment, and at that point in time, I mean to say in the early 90s, we spoke about equity. This further developed, right, and we found that in trying to link the economy, environment, and equity, rather than a destination, sustainability was a journey. It had to do with progress towards retrogression from preferred futures. It had to do because of the different priorities that we had to adapt in terms of social, economic, and environmental assets and outcomes. And at that point in time, when we spoke about sustainability, the concept of the triple bottom line came in. Right? I think we all know since yesterday we've been hearing about the triple bottom line, but you would see over here, when we speak about the triple bottom line, people speak about people, planet, and profit. But over here, there is another aspect that has been added to profit, which is prosperity. And because right now we don't think really that when we speak about profit, it's only about monetary profits. Organizations can achieve prosperity in various manners, which we're going to see later on. So what would that really mean? So when we speak about the triple bottom line and link it with sustainability, it has to do with the intermanagement of people, profit or prosperity, and the planet in a responsible manner, right? Without harming. So achieving profits without harming people, achieving profits without harming the planet, keeping the planet and people under good circumstances. Now, while we all were aiming, at least for the last 15 years, 1.5 decades, we all aimed at looking at people, profit, and planet. But slowly, there was another danger that lurked behind us. We never realized that the world in which we were living was coming to some drastic changes. When we look at the world after 10, 15 years today, we have started sensing, if you want, the impacts of two major aspects. The first one being climate change, and the second one being digital transformation. You would all agree with me over here that when we speak about climate change, we all underestimated the outcomes and impacts of climate change. We never realized that climate change would impact our livelihoods, right? Not having fruits and vegetables to eat, people suffering from famine. It had to do with our food security. So some big countries like India, Pakistan itself had a drop in their croppings. Work and employment, I can give you an example, like my colleague yesterday spoke about the heavy floods which we are having in Mauritius, where sometimes schools and offices are closed, or we have to close them down because of bad weather conditions. And we are being now called upon to manage something else, which is disaster. So we have taken it for granted that disaster will happen. We cannot prevent disasters, but we will have to manage disaster. The other factor that has affected our lives as soon as we wake up, or even before we wake up, because I believe we all put our alarms on the mobile phone now, right, is digital transformation. So we have a very well-known term in human resource. We speak about disruptive technology. Right? You will realize how technology has disrupted our lives. Think well, we are working much, much more than we were working in the 1990s or just before the COVID. People nowadays want seamless services and timelessness. Timelessness is what? I have seen this at CSIBER. You wish for something now, you want it the next minute. Isn't it, right? So we are moving that much of a fast world as far as digital transformation is concerned. Together with that, we all nowadays speak about the VUCA context. So climate change, digital world has brought what we call the actual context of complexity, ambiguity, volatility, and uncertainty. Right? Nowadays, to take a particular business decision, there are so many factors. All factors are key that we have to take into consideration. Before, it was only the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. But today, we are being made to think about, for example, mental well-being. We are being made to think about the environment before we take a business decision. Secondly, ambiguity. You can take a decision today, but tomorrow you realize it was the worst decision that you had taken, as compared to the 1990s, where you take an economic decision and it's the right decision for the next 10 years, because all your economic factors remain the same. And volatility, right? Let's think of the mobile phone. Today you buy a mobile phone, and in 2 weeks' time, it's outdated. The rate of change that we are having, we are being made to grapple with. Right? Yesterday I was talking to Mr. Deshpande, and he told me, I told him, what is the challenge that you are facing in your business? He said that, the rate of change. He told me that the population of India is growing so fast and the business rate is growing so fast that my business finds it somewhat difficult to cope with that rate of change. And of course, uncertainty. No one had imagined that 3 years from now, overnight, we would have been asked to stay in and not go out at all until we were told to do so. It never happened in our lifetime. It never happened even in our four grandfathers' lifetime, that we were asked to stay in. So this VUCA context, as you call them, so volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, is grappling fast in our personal and economic lives as well. Now the big question, what do we do? How are we able to manage the VUCA context by honoring the triple bottom line? Where do we weigh that? Are we able to do it? Are we able to manage people, planet, and profit together with achieving sustainability? Let's see. I have two fundamental ways of doing that. I know, right? My colleagues have spoken about green HRM. Vimla has spoken about health and well-being. Mrs. Kalainathan spoke about green financing, and Mr. Arjunan spoke about environment. But I come up with two basic factors which I believe if we are able to manage and put under control, we will be able to achieve sustainability in the changing VUCA context. The first one, I'll join hands with Mr. Ramphal to say, the greening initiatives through human resource management. And second, the dictating factor of our lives today, AI. How do we do that? When we speak about green HRM, it's all about transforming traditional employees, like we all are, into green ones, who, at each and every point of their decision making, they are able to think about the environment. Simple. Before printing 5 pages, we think. Before taking our single vehicle to come to office, we think. These are imbibing green attitude in our people who work in them. Secondly, green HRM can also be a set of policies, practices, and strategies which relate to the management of people, but who can also help the organization achieve sustainability. For example, segregation of waste at the workplace. So when we speak about green HRM practices, we can practically make all HR functions and policies become green. So let's have a look how we can do that. The first one, paperless virtual processes, norms and values and culture being included in recruitment. So when we are recruiting people, no need to call them on our premises. We can have online meetings. We can even advertise the job on an online platform. And what would be very important as well is when we are recruiting them, we already make very clear the sustainable norms, values, and culture of the organization. So instead of telling the person as being most important what will be his salary package, we make him know that the norms and values and culture of the organization are geared towards sustainability. And this works. Next, green performance management. So in managing the performance of our individuals, we should also ensure that not only their performance at work in terms of their KPIs are being measured, rather there should be KPIs that are linked to sustainability. For example, their carbon footprint at the workplace. Do they switch off the AC when they leave the office? Do they make excessive use of light? When they're not using their computers, do they have a screensaver or the sleep mode? These are the attitudes and behaviors that should now be incorporated in performance management. Training, as the Vice Chancellor of the University from Wageningen said, training and development is the key aspect in developing our human resources. Let's train our people. Of course, we have to train our people in competencies, skills, knowledge, that's right. But let's also provide training to our people in terms of generating zero waste at work, reducing their consumption, and as I said, reducing their footprints. And yesterday when I was talking to Mr. Vijay Deshpande, this is what he told me. Their employees are trained continuously about their green practices. Next, participation and engagement. Again, I will take the example of the Kirloskal Industries, where in each and every green initiative and decisions of themselves, they also take their employees on board. Right? Employees are not only informed of the green decision, but employees are asked to give their suggestions and also contribute to decision-making in green decisions that the organizations are taking. Next, of course, the most important aspect of employment in terms of compensation and reward, rather than motivating employees with more financial rewards, organizations should now look into sustainable rewards, those that are linked with praise, recognition, and also tailor-made rewards which would suit the need of the individual. So I can take a small anecdote. In Mauritius, we all celebrate end of year. So end of year festivities, just like you have in India for Diwali, where each and every employee meets up and there is a bash, there is a nice dinner or lunch given at the workplace, and even the family is invited. This has been the case for many years. But then there was one question that one employee had asked, right? I don't want Family Day to be celebrated at my workplace. It's okay if you don't give my child an end-of-year gift. But please, don't reject my half-day leave or my one-day leave when I ask you when my child is sick at home. This is what we are looking for nowadays, right, in terms of tailor-made rewards. However, I went to some of the green job forums on the internet, but over here we have a great challenge as far as the implementation of green HRM is concerned. See, only 1 in 8 people currently have skills relevant to abating the climate crisis, with women at a particular disadvantage. right? The European Union's push to improve energy efficiency in buildings and reduce the amount of fossil fuels could create more than 160,000 jobs, okay, by the year 2030. However, given the skill shortage, there is a question of who will fill this position. So over here, I believe there is a great question for universities as well, right? We should be working towards providing green skills to our students as well. The next is the boss of the century, which is artificial intelligence. So I think we all know what is AI. It is technology that enables computers and machines to stimulate human intelligence and problem-solving capacities. Right? So when we speak about AI, it is a constellation of many different technologies that work together to make machines, to some extent, become human in terms of sensing, comprehending, acting, and learning with human-like levels of intelligence. And we have the impression that AI will be slowly grappling on many occupations of late. Of course, when we speak about AI, we know about the various opportunities which AI has provided to us. So enhanced automation, freeing people from repetitive and boring tasks. There are so many things now that is linked to robotics and AI. Personalized services. With the use of AI, we can have personalized services and preferences. For example, if you need a car that is personalized for you, this can be done, right? We all know that through AI, because of the precision that it offers, we have improved healthcare. There are so many surgeries that are being done, right, through robotics. And of course, smarter transportation system. I think Volvo already already have lorries without drivers, right? And Toyota, I think by the year 2030, it was 2025, but with the COVID, it got messed up. But by 2030, they will be commercializing cars without drivers. And today also, you can see that there are cars that can park themselves without the need of the driver. So we don't disagree, okay, that AI has provided us with a lot of opportunities. However, you would see, as I would show you, there is a big question mark raised by the UNESCO in January 2021. Are we making ethical use of AI in achieving sustainability? Right? Okay? Are we respecting, protecting, and promoting human rights? Right? We have to be very sure when in the use of AI, we don't jeopardize the respect, protection, and promotion of human rights. I think over here, Viraj will be agreeable to what I say, isn't it, right? AI is good to an extent that it doesn't go down in terms of not respecting human dignity. Right, okay? We have to ensure that AI does not make the environment and ecosystem suffer. It should help in the flourishment of environment and ecosystem. It should ensure that there is diversity and inclusiveness. The use of AI should not prohibit any individual from feeling inferior in this world. AI should not make us disconnected. We have already seen the mobile phone has separated people. The mobile phone has separated relatives. The mobile phone has separated children from playing, isn't it? Children are on their tablet. Every day, what do? Instead of talking to our parents, we just send them a WhatsApp of good morning, isn't it? Right? So we have to ensure that now AI doesn't disrupt our peaceful, just, and interconnected societies. We all know what issues we have been having with cybersecurity. So let's ensure that AI doesn't disturb our safety and security, personal and at work as well, by retaining our right to privacy and data protection. Any of our action done through AI should be transparent, should be explained, should be responsible and accountable, right? For no reason, we shouldn't step in AI and then just blame it on robotics. This is what is the challenge for us nowadays. The two challenges that I have explained to you, greening our human resources, and of course, small steps towards making ethical use of AI. So you will realize, when we speak about those small steps, these are us, right? It's not only the company, it's not only the government, it's not only CSIBER, UTM, or the University of Virginia, right? It's everyone together. So I have this to share with you, a little bit twisted from what Mahatma Gandhi had said. Let's be the change we want to see in this world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, being in Maharashtra, the land of saints, I think Maharashtra is known as Santanchi Bhumi. Allow me to end my presentation with a verse from Sant Ramdas in Marathi. So you excuse my pronunciation if it is not correct. देह त्यागिताना कीर्ती मागे उरावी, मना सज्जना हेची क्रिया धरावी, मना चंदनाचे परी त्या झिजावे, परी अंतरी सज्जना निववावे. O mankind, be careful of the legacy you leave behind when you shed your body. Let your actions remain memorable and fresh, just like when we apply chandan on our forehead. With this, thank you very much.